Alright, good morning. Today is Tuesday, February 25th. We are in the lesson study, God's Love and Justice, the first lesson quarterly for the year. The title of this one is The Origin of the Controversy in Heaven. Yesterday was the origin of the controversy on earth. This one is in heaven. In Genesis 1 to 3 alone, or not in, but Genesis 1 to 3 alone shows that evil existed before the fall of Adam and Eve. Even if evil was not a concrete reality in Eden, conceptually, evil had already appeared in the name of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Genesis 2, 9, and 17. Then the serpent accuses God of lying, when in fact, he, the serpent, is the one lying. The existence of the serpent, Revelation 12, 9, along with his lying, shows the reality of evil there. Thus, even in Eden, before the fall, the presence of evil is manifest. Read Ezekiel 28, 12 to 19. Son of man, my voice just cracked for some odd reason. I'm going through puberty again at 50. Son of man, take up a lamentation for the king of Tyre, and say to him, Thus says the Lord God, You were the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was your covering, the sardius, topaz, and diamond, beryl, onyx, and jasper, sapphire, turquoise, and emerald with gold. The workmanship of your timbrels and pipes was prepared for you on the day you were created. You were the anointed cherub who covers. I established you. You were on the holy mountain of God. You walked back and forth in the midst of the fiery stones. 19. You were perfect in your ways from the day you were created, till iniquity was found in you. By the abundance of your trading, you became filled with violence within, and you sinned. Therefore I cast you as a profane thing out of the mountain of God, and I destroyed you, O covering cherub, from the midst of the fiery stones. Your heart was lifted up because of your beauty. You corrupted your wisdom for the sake of your splendor. I cast you to the ground. I laid you before kings, that they might gaze at you. You defiled your sanctuaries by the multitude of your iniquities, by the iniquity of your trading. Therefore I brought fire from your midst. It devoured you, and I turned you to ashes upon the earth, in the sight of all who saw you. In the light of Exodus 25, 19, and 20, what is the nature of this being's fall? Well, it's a pretty bad fall. Exodus 25, 19, and 20. Make one cherub at one end and the other cherub at the other end. You shall make the cherubim at the two ends of it one piece with the mercy seat. And the cherubim shall stretch out their wings above, covering the mercy seat with their wings, and they shall face one another. The faces of the cherubim shall be toward the mercy seat. In other words, the cherubim is plural for cherub. Just, like in English we had an S to make it plural. In Hebrew they had the phrase the term im to make it plural. So cherub is one, cherubim is more than one. Anyway, so they were at the mercy seat. They were facing the mercy seat. They were bowing toward the mercy seat. They were not glorifying themselves. They were glorifying God. And in Ezekiel 28, 12 to 19, it talks about how Satan, the devil, the accuser, was glorifying himself. According to this passage, the origin of evil and the cosmic conflict began in heaven. Before he fell, the being who became known as Satan was a covering cherub. Beyond being identified as this cherub, he was the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty, and was in Eden, the garden of God. Neither of these things could be said of the human king of Tyre, or any other human for that matter. Hence, we know that we have been given here a glimpse of the fall of Lucifer. Read Isaiah 14, 12 to 15. It's hot here. How you are fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning. How you are cut down to the ground, you who weakened the nations. For you have said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will also sit on the mount of congregation, on the farthest sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. There's a lot of eyes in there. What additional light does this shed on the origin of the great controversy? Well, it's someone who decided to focus on himself, someone who was entirely selfish. According to Isaiah 14, Lucifer decided to exalt himself and make himself like God. This verse complements what we saw in Ezekiel 28, that his heart was lifted up because of his beauty, which should have brought him to glorify the God who made him beautiful. Instead, he became proud. Worse, in this pride, he set out to take God's place and to slander him. The Hebrew term for trading in Ezekiel 28:16 also means slander, an indication of how Satan will operate against God and against us as well. Be warned. All right. Discussion question. How do we understand the fact that Lucifer, who fell, was originally perfect from the day he was created till iniquity was found in him? I'm not sure what they mean by how do we understand that. It's I mean, we read it, and if you don't understand what you've read it again, and or contact someone who does understand it. Maybe they can rephrase it in simpler terms. Let's see. How could a perfect being fall unless being perfect included true moral freedom? Well, yeah. We have a slightly different meaning for perfect than they had for perfect back then. But it's not entirely true. I mean, if you see a sunset, and you got the sky is all lit, ablaze with colors, and there may be some clouds, and there's like maybe there's a pond and some mountains and trees and everything, and it looks absolutely beautiful. It's gorgeous. You're like, man, this is perfect. Is it really? Because I mean, it's the earth, and how perfect is the earth? Well, it's not. There are all kinds of things that are happening on the earth that are imperfect. But how could a perfect being fall unless being perfect included true moral freedom? Well, they couldn't. Perfect has to include true moral freedom. You have to have moral freedom in the way that our universe is set up, the way that God created it. If there's one thing, there must be the opposite. And if you don't have the moral freedom to choose to go against what your master says is the best thing, then you really don't have freedom at all. You're just a robot. Anyway, have a nice day. See you tomorrow.